Hello everyone, Dan the 14th Prime. I'm back here with the 3A Toys Premium Scale exclusive, Bambaland exclusive, Dark of the Moon Optimus Prime. I've done an unboxing video of them. I've checked the figure out a little bit. And now we're just kind of going to get into the figure and let you guys get a better look. So here you see him straight up. He's every bit of 19 inches, probably even marginally taller than that. And I'm really just going to let you guys kind of take it in. I'm going to do a quick kind of up and down pan here. It's hard to even kind of get lights all across his body, and obviously it's difficult to fit into one shot for you to be able to see everything, but a lot of good detail here. So I'm letting you just kind of take in the up and down. Let's go ahead and go in closer on the head sculpt there. Showed you a little bit in the last video. You can take a closer look. Again, the head articulation is just uncomfortably tight for me, but there's the side shot of that. There we are on the other side of the head, and probably a good angle just to show you this is the piece that comes off. It's on a magnet, so I really like that. And you just drop in 2 batteries up top here. It says AG13, which is also an LR44, which I actually do have handy, I think, which is also a 357 and blah blah blah. So do your battery translations. These things go by like 3 or 4 different names, but I actually had LR44 handy, which actually is the battery that goes up top for the head. And again, see that magnet? Can't really mess that up. Not worried about ever losing that. That being said, you can kind of knock it loose sometimes if you're messing with the head, but it stays very well. So after you got the batteries in the back of the head, there is a button on the back of the head. I'll probably show you when we just go to the back. But you push it in and there's the light up eyes. Now the one probably complaint, which is really just with Dark of the Moon Optimus overall, is he's got beady eyes, and he has beady eyes here. So he's got these little tiny beady light up eyes. It's not like a great glow or anything fascinating. It just looks like he has really beady eyes. So I'm taking some light away here so you can kind of see that, it lights up, but it is really just a couple of small beady eyes. So not a great magical impact, and it's really got to be dark, quite frankly, to even see them. But it's better than just kind of no light at all in there. And it probably helps a little bit even when it's just something there versus nothing. So again, lights on here, lights off there, and yeah, I mean, you can notice it's not a huge change, but actually having the light on does give the head sculpt a little bit more life than just here, kind of dead eyes. So if we just take a step back from the figure then, kind of focus on the upper torso, you can take all this in. I'm not going to voice over every single detail. I think it just looks really sweet. It is highly movie accurate to our Dark of the Moon Optimus Prime. Flames look really sweet. There's a nice wear effect kind of across it. It looks sweet. Really great. In terms of pieces that kind of do some stuff up here, this you saw if you watched my unboxing. It's an assembly piece, goes on a ball joint. You can move around these doors. You can move around these ab sectional pieces. You can move in and out these, whatever they are, canister looking things up on the shoulder. This piece here gives you some in and out articulation as well. Oh, and the canisters on top of there, which can move this way as well. So I'm just going to kind of show you some of the parts articulation while we go. It's got 85 points of articulation. Obviously, they're accounting a lot of the parts articulation with that. Unfortunately, these don't articulate, nor do these. I would love for those to do something. I have the Asia Premium Series 01U, kind of the ultimate Optimus Prime, stacked with accessories and this same Dark of the Moon look. It's got fantastic articulation, and these things move, and I love it. And it would just be great if this had that type of articulation. But it doesn't. It's a different type of figure, obviously. But nothing up here, nothing up here. The head I showed you. So then let's kind of cruise down. And again, 19-inch figure. I mean, you got to just chunk it out. There's no other way to get a good view of this guy so you can see what I'm doing. Lights here, kind of articulation ab piece here. So that'll move around and do some stuff. Get that how you want it to. So these lights here, you got 2 there and 2 there. These are really the best lights. Sweet Autobot symbol kind of buried back there as well if you haven't noticed that. These are really the best lights, kind of floodlights. The batteries are on the back in one of his tanks, and there's just a button back there that they ask you to use this little stick with to kind of push in. So I'm going to do that and demonstrate the lights for you. I'll show you the whole battery mock-up when we get to the back of the figure. So there we are, lights on. You can see it. Obviously, I've got a lot of light flooded into the set right now. So let me just kind of dial it down. And there you can see what that looks like. And let me just go ahead and put the headlights on. And let me just give you a compare and contrast. So there you've got, oops, it's difficult to see because I can't fit it all in. So there, get them looking down. There you can see the 2 lighting fixtures in one shot. Again, those beady little eyes, but better than nothing. And frankly, how the figure looks. He just has movie accurate, these tiny ass little eyes, right? And then you got the floodlights down there on the chest, which are much more powerful and more impactful. Okay, so I mentioned this piece. I will say these just look like they're begging to articulate a little bit, and they look like they're kind of on a ball joint back there, but I haven't gotten them to move, so I'm going to presume they don't, because I'm not interested in forcing anything. So there's some movement happening through here. It's minuscule, probably just slightly, I don't know if I'd call that articulation or just chance that it moves. Maybe slight movement there just to accommodate the bigger ball joint hip piece in the back. So this piece here is a more significant articulating piece. Oh, there it goes. So it kind of just folds up and down actually. And I found it's a piece you got to watch when you move the leg. You know, if you've got that in and you want to put the leg forward, it's going to be a problem. Could break something. So watch that. Keep it kind of out and clear, and it's going to just generally enable better articulation for you. I think in the first video you guys saw the wheels that come on the back. So you can spin this thing around. It's got like a sliding mechanism in a ball joint. So you can do that one. This one here is just kind of on a nub. So you can kind of wiggle it. Maybe I can show you that one on the side a little bit more. And I'm just going to try to angle the camera down to catch the rest of this. So you have these big shin pad pieces which articulate out. So I really like that. You can also just take a look at the good wear and paint there through the thighs. Good detail behind that piece even. I love this kind of wear effect. In the crease effects, in where there's raised pieces, just great kind of dry brushing where the dirt effect really stays in the line where it should be. Nice knee joint kind of look to it, so just really cool. And then when you just come the rest of the way down, nothing's moving that I've noticed through here. This might be one of those things where you just discover new things kind of all the time, but this little piece moves here. And that just accommodates some of the foot articulation. The foot's really just on a big ball joint. I'll talk more about that. This piece here also gives a little bit of movement as well. There you can see it going up to accommodate if you want to be putting the foot up. And then maybe just finally, I'll at least just make you aware the foot articulates at the toe. So it's got like toe action up and down. And we'll take a closer look at that from this side as well. Okay, so that is the front of the figure. That is all the parts articulation that I'm able to locate at this moment. Having a couple hours with the figure, and I've given you a chance here to just kind of check out some of this sweet molding, paint, detail, all really nice. Here's the side. It's going to be a little more difficult. I'm basically straight on square with his shoulder right now. So you can see how that big shoulder kind of hides the head back there. We'll take another look at that. Here, left side of the arm, I've already showed you a couple articulating points there, so you've seen that. I think mainly this is just so you can see some of the paint articulation and detail coming down the arm. That form there looks really sweet. Nice paint and flame. Let's go ahead and hop down here actually, because I can spend some time on the hand. So you can see that. Good articulation. You can't separate the fingers. That was a little disappointing. I was hoping you'd be able to do that. You can't. They're all just kind of lined up. There's good knuckle articulation all through them. You got a ball joint there at the base of the thumb, and then he's got 2 joints in his thumb. Same with the fingers. You get 3 joints, you know, at the base, in the middle, and towards the top. So it's all there. No ball joints at the base of the hand. See if I can spin that so the hand's just on a ball joint. So there you can take a look at the inside. See if I can get the light in there a little more perfect. It's a big peg here. That's basically for his gun, his accessories. And you can see it's just very tightly in there, so not a ball joint or anything that gives you the ability to split the fingers, unfortunately. Hand is just on a ball joint. So you can spin it around and bring it in and out and stuff like that. So that's good. While I'm here, I'll just give you kind of that extra little bit of look while we're down here. And then here we just got the arm really up and out of the way. Again, here's that articulated door piece, right? That's the top of the shoulder piece. So then you can just look in there and see all that great detail. You can see the tanks coming off the back there. That's his midsection. These are the wheels. Again, this one is on this kind of sliding piece and ball joint. And then this is kind of on this nub. It can be moved as well. I think I showed you the front knee panel, right? And how that can articulate like this. Same thing on the back. There's a back panel that'll kind of flip out like that to accommodate moving the leg back. And also this was a piece that went on with assembly. It's just on a big ball joint as well. And you can move this around as well. Probably as good a time as any to take a look at the foot here. I don't love the foot. They could have did a better job. They could have done a better job with the foot. I showed you this. It does this kind of up, and these pieces kind of can help accommodate some of the up and just getting the heck out of the way, right? But it's basically just kind of plugged in there in the front with a ball joint. So you get some pretty good movement. You don't get a heel. That's what they really needed, was this heel should have a bend articulation in it. So he should have toe and heel. Unfortunately, he doesn't have heel. That would have been so easy, and it looks so appropriate because that heel is just massive. Why not just slap it in with a ball joint on the back and let you get kind of that heel articulation, because it'd be nice to be putting that forward for some extra balance in some poses. So mainly the foot, this giant mechanism, which is still hard to fit in, is just on a big ball joint. So maybe you can see that the ball joint is right there. It's back there. Extra light maybe. There maybe you can see the peg. Slam it down into the foot. So in theory, decent articulation, but it's none of these things move, and they really limit what it does. So I find it really difficult to move the foot. Really difficult. Which makes it really difficult to pose. And it's super tight too. So there it is going up on that ball joint, but I don't love the foot. I think the ball joint could be okay, but there it is, you know, oh so slightly ankle pivoted. There it is, ankle pivoted, but these side pieces really get in the way. And I think just splitting the foot into more points of articulation, particularly with the heel, would have been a nice add. Would have made a lot of difference. And I'll just make one final observation on the side here. What I don't get is the wheel down here. all black, right? Hopefully that's a good enough angle that you can see. There's a tire there, and it's very thoroughly black painted. When you come up to these tires, dirty. They're dirty. They almost look blue. Obviously, it's a wear and dirt effect, dust effect they put on it. But I don't understand why those tires should be a different color. I would have liked these to be more black. Okay, guys. So here's the back of the figure, and I'll give you lesson 1 right here. You know how I had his arm up, his left arm up, and he has super heavy ratchet joints, which is kind of annoying because it's a pretty fragile figure. I get it's big, but it's not like that heavy. It's big, but not that heavy. It probably doesn't need as hefty of ratchets as it has. And just trying to ratchet his arm down and just holding the figure, popped off this shoulder piece, which is just it glues on back here and otherwise just kind of floats so it doesn't attach anywhere in the front. So not a big deal. There it is, right? I'll glue it back on. It'll be okay. You can see a couple tabs here, and it has the glue on it. So I'll do that again. But just fragile figure, really, really heavy ratchets. Like those two don't go together. So if you're ratcheting joints at all, I'd recommend probably strictly only holding the waist section, because there's just so much delicate pieces and just so many other areas. All right, guys, let's keep moving here. Top, back of the figure. I've showed you the articulating parts, like this thing. And watch that, contacting with that. It's probably another reason why the instructions mention that, because it could break that piece. So it's not just about paint wear. It's really about this shoulder piece is just glued with a couple tabs around the back of the neck, and then otherwise just kind of floats. And, pressure on it's going to pop it off. And it did mine, but I can pop it back in and I'll glue it back. So it's fine. But really nice job here with, you got the doors here and the flames. You got the tanks. Let me show you how the batteries work on the tanks. So in this one here, you just pop off that cover, pop in your two batteries, and then just pop that right back on. So the battery access is really, really easy on this figure, which is nice. While we're back here, let me show you the light switches. As I mentioned, the eyes, there's a button just right here on the back of his head. You just push that in. For the kind of floodlights in the front, they want you to use the flat end, not the pointy end. The button is right there. It's that mechanism kind of on the line here. You just take this little stick and push it in. Come down through here. Can't really see, but this figure uses like big hefty ball joints in a lot of areas, which is fine. I don't mind that. Probably I should have ball jointed the whole thing versus ratcheting some areas like the arms, because I don't think the figure is so heavy. I think ball joints generally would have worked. Probably the one exception is like when he's holding the gun. The gun is big and heavy, and maybe that's why they had to go ratchets in the shoulder. Otherwise, I think ball joints is good, but his whole upper body just comes into basically a ball joint here on the base, which is behind this piece. Showed you these articulating pieces, right? Plug in, slide around, wiggle these bad boys. These are probably the pieces most prone to fall off. So these are kind of these butt pieces. They're on really small nubs plugged in back there, and you can articulate them in some way to, help create leg clearance. But those are the pieces that will fall off the most for you. Closer up view of this back section, and again, be sure, pause, do whatever you need to do, but take in all this great detailing. I'm not commentating over all of it. It's just a lot there, and I think it's just generally super, super nice. So it's for you to look at. This is the articulating piece here, as well as, again, this panel, which was an assembly piece. See the unboxing video. It's just on a big, hefty ball joint. And we'll do some movement for you as well. And then we'll just kind of come down at the back. And again, nothing else really happening here. We've talked about the feet. So, I'll just get up and down the figure for you again here, and you can check it out. You can put things how and where you want them. If you wanted tires kind of out of the way, you can tuck them back. If you want them more up on his hip, you can do that. So that's cool. All the nice wear through the back of the arms. Looks really, really good. Underneath, you go in there, you got like red pumps and things on the arms. Super cool. Great job with like this worn chrome look, which you really see on the tanks, on these shoulder pieces. That just looks awesome. So I'll just spin over here from the front side just so you can get a good look. I think this is probably the best angle. You really see how the front comes around, the top of the plates there, the chest, the head, and how just the robot section opens up, smokestacks, back doors back there. Kind of my broken piece. So that just looks really, really cool up top. Okay guys, so I'm gonna try to just show you the rest of the articulation. It's so difficult with the big figure, trying to fit everything in, but I'm gonna show you the rest of the body articulation and hopefully not break anything else. But this shoulder, again, comes up and, you know, watch that piece as mentioned in the instructions, right? So you can get it up, and I'm just going to be careful. I mean, that's probably about as good as you're going to get. Trying to get that out of the way. So there's not a lot of upward movement because you're going to knock that. That's that heavy, heavy ratchet. This is what caused me to break my guy. Gee, look at that. I mean, it's just heavy. Shakes the whole figure when you use that. Again, you probably need it because of the gun, but it is a really heavy ratchet. Elbow, lighter ratchet. I feel better about that one. 90 degrees at the elbow. Even when you go across the waist, you want to squeeze. I'm like squeezing these red things, which is making me paranoid. I'll break those next. There is a cool articulation feature. So what I show you, it goes up, it goes around, you know, you got a 90-degree elbow. There is like this armpit joint right in here. I don't know how well I can open it up for you to see, but you can move the shoulder kind of forward and back. So that's a cool extra piece of articulation. And then finally, and again, I'm almost paranoid about where I should be holding him to do this, but you can spin his waist. Let's kind of create some clearance here. Oh yeah, that was another thing. His head is like so loose, and voila, his head will pop off. Again, not a big deal. There's a tab, it glues in. But I noticed that early as I was articulating his head, I was like, oh man, is that going to come out? Yes, it will. So you can turn his waist like this. Articulating this guy is not easy. He's massive, he's delicate. If you haven't noticed by now, he does kind of bend over. He's bending. So there he's got kind of this crunch forward effect. Because again, it's basically all just, I believe, on a ball joint. Stand him up straight. So for the lower section of his body, just show you one of the legs here. So you got some outward movement, and again, it's a matter of making things move to get out of the way. You got to watch some of these pieces back here. This is helpful. So you get some outward movement. I'm probably not going to test the limits of all this, considering two things have already broke on the figure, guys. Obviously, you can get a leg up and out. And you just got to watch that. It's going to run into things. You need to just manage the articulation. You know, this isn't like some superposable figure where you're going to be doing a bunch of rad-ass stuff. But it's good to have some movement. It does have a thigh swivel up there. That's actually like the least scary piece I think you can move. Come into the knee. Knee's not too scary. You get a knee like that. It's not 90 degrees back. So that's alright. I believe that's basically it, guys. It's all the big stuff. You know, so
Ooh. So pose at your own risk. I mean, for me, this is basically like a poor man's Prime 1 studio kind of piece. Has some articulation that you can move around, but I'm not going to be moving this guy like crazy. I'm going to fix what I broke here, and he'll go in a pose and probably largely sit there for most of the time. So in terms of his accessories, again, he has this claw. I gave you guys a peek at that before, the brass knuckle look. And this goes off and on pretty easy. So he's got like this cover on the back of his fist. It just slides right over the top. Right, so voila. Brass knuckles are on, ready to go, ready to punch somebody. Next here, guys, you've got the big swords. They come nicely fully detailed like this, but to actually get them together, you pop off the ends, which reveals the attachment mechanism. And it just slides up like there's an obvious slot here if you got the figure. Hopefully you can see that. Very obvious slot there. And this just pegs in. That is a little bit of a complaint for me. I mean, when he has the gun, it's a challenge. Here he's got his swords. And again, a bit of a challenge. Well, since his head fell off again, you can get a really nice look at the back of the head, which is very nicely detailed. Then here, guys, really in my final trick, and I haven't been loving the balance of this thing. The big gun, right? I'll let you take a good look at it in the unboxing. And I'll give you another good look at it. This is the exclusive. It's ridiculously huge. It comes up to his thigh right there, as you can see. All kinds of nice detail. My son has Nerf guns the size of this thing. Just massive. Got a peg, and he has pegs in the palm of his hand, as I showed before. So we're going to plug. So that plugs in. I'm going to want to kind of just put these fingers, two bottom fingers underneath, thumb around. And you can put a trigger finger through there, but the other finger, because it doesn't spread down, is kind of just hanging out a little bit. So there he is holding the massive gun. So there you have that big boss gun. Just take a step back. Sorry guys, I know getting like some of the lights and stuff has not been perfect in this video, because it's just hard to kind of keep everything where you want it with lights good. But here you have him holding that massive gun. You can just see how hilariously large it is. We'll kind of come over here a little bit even. Can't even fit everything in, but there it is. And that's got to be the reason why he has those big heavy ratchets, which otherwise I would prefer he didn't have in his shoulder. But the elbow can hold it, actually, you can see. So it seems like maybe elbow ratchet in the shoulder would have been sufficient strength. So there you have it, guys. Bambaland's ThreeA Toys exclusive premium scale figure Optimus Prime. I hope it was helpful. Felt a little clunky at times. But again, it's a big, huge, massive figure. It is beautiful. It is delicate. And what doesn't work is the delicateness of the figure and the big, heavy, ratchety joints in some areas and just trying to articulate him. So I popped off a head and popped off a collar over the course of this video. So I'm going to go do some super gluing. But otherwise, I think he'll be okay. He's going to go on a shelf here in maybe a pose like this, which has the gun and the sword and looks pretty nice, and not really move much. So once you get to that state, I think he's okay. It's obviously not a highly posable figure that you want to be tinkering with a lot. But again, it is an awesome figure. I'm really happy with it. I think it's great. Check this guy out. All right, guys. Hope you liked the video. I'll see you next time.